Happy last day officially of summer 2020. So as we begin a new season, we talked about this on Saturday's class. It's a great time to just pause and do some self-reflection on what's been working for you and perhaps set some intentions or visualize what you'd like to see next on the next chapter of your life. But in setting intentions, it's also important to reflect back after you've done some action towards it and to reevaluate what continues to work and how am I following through. But it's also really important to do that with compassion to ourselves. We can, at least I know I can, be easily critical of mistakes or swaying off the path. So here's a wonderful book that I used when I was trying to change habits in my life. It's called Taking the Leap, Freeing Ourselves from Old Habits and Fears. And it's written by Pema Chodron. Here's an excerpt from it. In the Buddhist teachings on compassion, there's a practice called one at the beginning and one at the end. When I wake up in the morning, I do this practice. I make an aspiration for the day. For example, I might say, today, may I acknowledge whenever I get hooked or reactive, or may I not speak out of or act out of anger. So I try to make it not too grandiose, as in today, may I be completely free of all neurosis. I begin with a clear intention, and then I go about the day with this in mind. In the evening, I review what happened. This is the part that can be so loaded for, as she calls, Western people. We have an unfortunate tendency to emphasize our failures. But when Dzigar Kontrul, I believe that's her teacher, teaches about this, he says that for him, when he sees that he has connected with his aspiration, even once briefly during the whole day, he feels a sense of rejoicing. He also says that when he recognizes he lost it completely, he rejoices that he has the capacity to see that. This way of viewing ourselves has been very inspiring for me, she says. He encourages us to ask what it is in us, after all, that sees that we lost it. Isn't it our own wisdom, our own insight, our own natural intelligence? Can we just have the aspiration then to identify with the wisdom that acknowledges that we hurt someone's feelings or that we smoked when we said we wouldn't? Can we have the aspiration to identify more and more with our ability to recognize what we're doing instead of always identifying with our mistakes? This is the spirit of delighting in what we see rather than despairing in what we see. It's the spirit of letting compassionate self-reflection build confidence rather than becoming a cause for depression. Something you might find interesting to chew on. So as you find your way into a comfortable seat, grounded, pressing into the surface of what your body is resting against, uplifted as you broaden your chest and lift to your crown, and relaxed. Perhaps you close your eyes, turning your attention inward, feeling your body breathing. So we turn a new chapter in the book of our lives. Every moment, really. But just a seasonal change is a nice benchmark to pause a moment. Is there any intention that you're cultivating or anything you're envisioning for yourself going forward? Whether it's for this next hour or the next few months into winter. And as you might set an intention for yourself, I invite you to place your hands at your heart energy center, which is actually the middle of the chest, not the organ. And allow deeper breaths into that area. Visualize that area with a feeling of warmth and kindness. ability to see with compassion as we follow through in our practice today, and perhaps reevaluate how you align to your intention at the end of it. Delighting in what we see, building confidence. So now slide your hands down to your belly, and we're going to begin a 3-part breath called Durga Pranayama. Let's just inhale into the belly now, so fill it up, hold it in at the top, then to your lips, whisper it out completely, and empty the belly so it draws inward towards your spine. As you hold the breath out, continue to sit tall, relaxed. Then now slide your hands onto your rib cage, holding the left and right walls. Breathe into there and feel them expand. Pause the breath in, keep relaxing your body. Then to your lips, empty the breath slowly. Hold the breath out, then bring your hands to your chest again and breathe into there. Feel your collarbones broaden, your sternum slightly lift, and then hold the breath. Again through the mouth, whisper it out completely. And now, let's place the left hand on your chest, the right hand on your belly, and we'll begin a 3-part breath. So the inhale is in 3 parts, 1/3 into the belly, 1/3 into your side ribs, then 1/3 into your chest. We'll hold the breath in, and then we'll exhale everything out and hold the breath out. You can decide if you want to breathe out through the mouth or through the nose, but breathe in through the nose. So place your left hand on the chest, right hand on the belly, empty this breath, hold it out. 1/3 inhale into your belly, 1/3 into your side ribs, 1/3 into your chest. Hold the breath in and relax. And exhale everything out. Hold the breath out and observe. Again, 1/3 into your belly, 1/3 side ribs, 1/3 chest. Hold the breath. Exhale completely. Hold it out. Try 2 more cycles on your own. And with no rush, when you finish the last holding the breath out, then begin to sustain your breath with your mouth closed, softly narrowing the back of your throat, creating a gentle whisper. Even the breath in and out so that you're beginning Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breath. See as you breathe in if you can feel all 3 parts expanding, the belly, the side ribs, the chest, and listen to the breath out so that it equates the length of the total breath in. We're going to be very mindful of that as we focus quite a bit on the synchronization of breath and movements through our vinyasa flows. So if your eyes are still closed, gently open them, and let's make our way down to all 4s. Still listening to your breath through your nose. Now, as you come onto hands and knees, set your wrists directly underneath your shoulders so that you're in a modified plank pose. The knees are directly under your hips. Point your index fingers forward so they're parallel to each other, spreading your fingers flat. Look on the ground ahead and lengthen your neck. Now, as you inhale, extend your left leg straight behind you. Coil your chest up as though you're in cow pose. Keep squaring the hips. And as you exhale, contract your belly and bend your left knee towards your nose, pressing down through your hands, dome the spine. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you and up. Coil the chest up again. But this time, keep your shoulders balanced and exhale, cross your left knee to tap your right outer upper arm, or as close to it as you can. Inhale, raise the leg, arch the upper back again. This time, tap left knee to left outer upper arm. Let's try one more round of that. Inhale, raise the leg, arch the upper back. Exhale, contract through center, knee to nose. Inhale, lift up, open the chest. Exhale, twist, cross the knee to right outer upper arm. Keep the shoulders balanced. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, tap left outer upper arm. Then set your left knee on the ground directly under your shoulder. Respread your fingers flat. Relax the shoulders away from your neck. And straighten your right leg so you're tucking your toes on the floor. Spin your right heel flat onto the ground directly behind your left toes to set up for modified side plank. So press the ground away with left hand and right foot as you raise the right arm. Think of lifting the left side of your waist away from the floor and lengthening equally through both sides of your torso, left and right, and both sides of your neck. Now see if you might be able to lift your right flexed foot so that your heel is about the height of your right hip. If that's too much right now, you can reset the sole down. But if you feel pretty balanced there, keep engaging your belly, stay steady in your breathing. See if you can bend your right knee towards your belly here. And with your right hand, catch hold of your right shin, ankle, or top of your foot. And then treat that right leg like a bow and arrow. So you're slowly trying to kick it back to that straight leg position as you flex the foot while you're pulling that leg behind you towards your glute. Using the counter forces as you press the floor away with your left hand, open up your chest. Whatever version you're practicing, let's take 3 more breaths. So this is sort of a foreshadowing kind of a peak posture later on today. So one more deep breath. Now re-extend your right leg off the floor, still flexing the foot if you were bending the knee. Raise the right arm. Sweep the right arm overhead and then lower back to hands and knees, all fours. Now let's just take a moment to flip your left palm to face up so that your fingertips are facing your left knee. And for a few breaths, gently stretch into your left outer wrist and forearm. And if you like, give your head some gentle movement at your neck. Notice in that process, those posture sequence, if your breath has changed. Flip the left palm to face down, realign into a modified plank. Then inhale, raise your right leg behind you, square the hips and coil your step. Lift the right heel towards the sky. Exhale, contract the belly and round, bending right knee towards your nose. Press down through your hands. Inhale, raise the right leg and coil your chest up. This time, look forward and cross the knee. Left outer upper arm in a twist. Try to keep the shoulders balanced. Inhale, raise right leg and chest. Exhale, tap right knee to right outer upper arm. All right, one more round. Inhale, raise the right leg and chest. Exhale, through center, contract, dome your back. Inhale, lift up. Look forward, exhale, twist, cross the knee to left tricep. Shoulders balanced. Inhale, lift up. Last one. Exhale, tap right outer upper arm. Inhale, reach the leg back and lower your right knee directly under hip. This time, straighten your left leg and tuck the toes on the floor. Spin your left heel to the ground. And as you press the floor away with the right hand, raise your left arm, coming to modified side plank, modified Vashisthasana. Check in with the quality of your breathing as you press down to your right hand and left foot, lifting right side of your waist away from the floor. Feel the shoulder blades spread and away from your neck. Now see if you might be able to lift your left foot off the floor and flex it, about the height of your hip. If not, you can always set it back down, But if you're lifting it and you feel pretty stable, try bending your left knee towards your belly. The left hand reaches the top of your left foot, ankle, or shin. And as you continue to flex the foot, kick the leg towards straight and bend the knee towards your back wall. So your heel is aiming towards your left glute. Now feel again how you're using the ground support through the right hand. Spring your weight off of it as you open the chest. Let's take 3 more deep breaths, whatever version of this posture you're practicing. Now try not to slingshot your left leg straight, but gradually with control, re-extend the leg, raise your left arm overhead, lower onto your hands and knees, then flip your right palm to face up to stretch your outer wrists. A few deep breaths. So through that brief sequence of postures, did anything change in your breathing or even energetically? Any slight shift you might notice? So this awareness is so much of what we're refining through the yoga practice. Not necessarily, though it feels great, refining the physical postures to perfection. It's more about the consciousness that we're expanding using the tools of the practice. So flip the palms face down, tuck your toes, and lift your pelvis back. Downward facing dog. Allow a few breaths if you want to explore movement of your own or to hold still right away. Knowing that anytime, if you need it, child's pose or any kind of modification that you deem suitable is available. From downward facing dog, bend your knees, look in front of your hands, and as you exhale, walk to the front of your mat and stand in a forward fold with your feet at least hips width apart and parallel. You might be bending your knees here so that your spine feels like a flat back as you tilt more weight towards the balls of your feet. Press the ground ahead or your leg, and inhale, lift your chest so the spine parallels the floor. Exhale, hinge a little deeper from your hips. Down through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms out to your sides and up, palms meeting in salutation, gaze up. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. So let's just feel vinyasa through a half sun salutations, a few of them. So remember, the word vinyasa is Sanskrit for to place in a special way. Placing the breath in a special way, placing the body specifically, being intentional with all those parts. So as you release the arms by your sides, palms facing forward, feel the placement of your spine, your shoulders over your hips over your ankles. Now, as you take a deep inhale, use the entire length of it to raise the arms, then watch your palms touch at the top of the back. Exhale, hinge from your hips, bowing all the way down to emptying the breath. Press the ground of your legs, use the full inhale to lengthen your spine forward. Really marrying the full extent of the breath to the movement. Exhale, fold. With your entire inhale, rise up, sweeping your arms overhead, watching your palms touch at the top of your in-breath. As you exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Let's try that twice more. Ardha Surya Namaskar. Inhale, raise your arms overhead, the full length of the in-breath. The full length of the out-breath, fold forward. Inhale, press and lengthen the spine forward, full inhalation. Taking your time, use the entire exhalation to bow again. Use the full inhalation to rise all the way up, gazing up towards your hands. Entire exhalation to release the arms down and by your sides. So let's take longer movements. Inhale, raise the arms. Now sun salutation A. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, press with the hands, lengthen forward. Use the entire exhale to lower into plank and glide forward. Lower through forelimb staff to the ground. Entire inhale to lift your chest in cobra as you firm the tops of your feet to the floor. The entire exhale to press up and lift your pelvis back to downward dog. Then pausing in stillness here, feel your breath re-expand into the belly, side ribs, chest. Completely exhaling as you balance the length of in and out breath. Now bending your knees, lift your heels and hips. Look beyond where you want to land your feet at the top of your mat. This time, empty your breath completely, holding it out, engage the lower belly and walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Then with your next inhale, lift the chest and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way down again. Inhale, rise all the way up. So calibrating the breath to stay equal in and out. Exhale, hands down to your heart. Let's take one more, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Now, if you're gonna jump this time, float back and land halfway down in Chaturanga. So the floating back, you'll want to have your hands flat alongside your feet where they need to be for plank pose already. And when you land very, very lightly, your elbows are already bent 90 degrees, hugging your sides. Then you can decide whether to go all the way down or to flip your toes into upward facing dog. So those of you that like to jump back, like I just did, make sure that you are landing with your elbows already bent so that rather than your spine absorbing the shock of landing, your elbows kind of act like suspension. So downward facing dog, take a few more breaths. From here, let's bring your feet together to touch. Spread the fingers flat. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Bending the knee, turn open at your right hip and just take a few breaths. If you want to rotate your right thigh at the hip, warming up your hip joint, or if you'd rather just keep lifting the right knee towards your right wall or ceiling. Keep relaxing your neck, drawing your left outer hip towards your back wall. Now turn your right outer hip down and straighten the right leg behind you as you flex the foot. Take a deep breath in. Then slowly bend your right knee towards your nose, rounding forward to stack your shoulders over your wrists. Then try to very softly, quietly land the foot directly between your hands. Spin your back heel down for warrior two. And as you cartwheel your arms to rise up, look and see that your right heel aligns to the arch of your left foot. And as you're turning out your right leg from the hip, you're bending the knee directly over the heel, allowing the middle of your right knee and middle toe to trace the center line of your mat. As your left leg slightly turns inward, you're pressing the outside edge of the foot into the ground and firming the top of your left thigh bone towards the right wide width of your mat. Feel your pelvic bowl as upright and neutral as possible so that your spine is as upright and neutral as possible. Then open the arms for a moment, then reach the left arm behind your back so that maybe you even catch hold of the top of your right thigh. Now use this variation bind of the left arm to encourage the left side of your chest to open up even more. In fact, keep reaching the right arm forward, but turn your head to look over your left. Over there, see if you might let the left shoulder head descend just a bit more as you equal through the sides of your waist, your neck. Now keep that descent of the left shoulder forward past your right hand. Keep bending the right knee perhaps 90 degrees and re-extend the left arm. Now feel that your wrists are leveled. Your reach is active through all your fingertips. But then your gaze, though it's steady, your eyes and face are relaxed. Your breath is calm and smooth. Let's take 5 more deep breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Breathe in. Breathe out, 4. Deep inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Last breath. Now, straighten your right leg, firm the front muscle of your right thigh, and slide your pelvis sideways towards your rear wall. Reach your right hand forward as far as you can towards your front wall before you tilt your right hand down to land on your right leg or just to the right of your leg. If you need, shorten your stance a couple inches. You can walk the left foot inward slightly. Now, if your right hand is outside of your right leg, press the arm and leg against each other. Wrap your right outer hip under your body so you're still turning out the right leg as much as you did in Warrior Two. Then open up your left arm and see if you can feel the effect of what we did in Warrior Two when we wrapped the arm behind you. So feel the left collarbone splay wide from the sternum. Feel the energetic line from the sternum all the way up to your left fingertips. And as you reach up through the left hand, see if you can lighten the weight of your right hand, firming the sides of your waist for the last 3 breaths. Triangle pose. Feeling both expansion through all your limbs and throughout your spine while grounding firmly through both feet. Now raise your left arm overhead, look down, and lower into downward facing dog. Right away, step your feet together in downward dog. Then inhale, raise your left leg. As you exhale, bend the knee, turn open at your hip, and decide if you want to rotate the left leg a few times or just hold it still, maybe starting to raise the knee higher. Relaxing your neck, look down towards your right foot. Now square your hips, straighten the left leg. Inhale, flex your left foot back. Exhale, round slowly forward as you bend the knee towards your nose and try to quietly step your left foot directly between your hands. Spinning your right heel down, press firmly through your feet and cartwheel your arms right into Warrior Two. Now see that your left heel lines to the arch of your right foot. As you're slightly turning in your right leg, you're pressing the outside edge of that foot into the ground. And as you're completely turning out your left leg, you're bending your left knee right on top of the ankle, maybe 90 degrees. Your pelvic bowl is upright, allowing most space in your spine as you extend the arms. Steady your gaze forward. Now let's wrap the right arm behind your back. Maybe you catch hold of the top of your left thigh, but use this half bind to feel a little more opening in that right side of your chest. Look over your right shoulder towards your back wall and see if you can draw the right shoulder downward as you lift up to your crown. Then re-steady your gaze forward past your left hand. Take another breath to imprint this feeling of shoulders descending, collarbones broadening. Then re-extend your right arm. Feel the balance and height of both of your wrists. Feel the balance of extension through all your fingertips. Notice that as you're steadying your gaze, you're also relaxing your face. Hear the quality of your breath. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Deep inhale. Exhale, 3. Breathe in. Exhale, 2. One more deep inhale. Exhale, 1. Firming down through both feet, straighten your left leg. Firm the front muscle of your left thigh. Glide your hips sideways towards the rear edge of your mat. Reach your left hand forward towards your front wall as far as you can before tilting your hand downward onto your left leg or just to the left of it, making sure arm and leg press against each other. If it helps, shorten your stance a couple of inches. As you continue to wrap your left outer hip underneath your body, see if you can equally lengthen both sides of your torso, both sides of your neck, while maybe turning your gaze up towards your right thumb. Last 3 breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Again, imprint how expansive your body can feel in this posture, while at the same time stably grounded. We're going to reference it later. Sweep your right arm overhead and look down at your left foot. This time, lower your hands towards the top of your mat and step your right foot forward into a standing forward fold. Bring your feet apart, hips distance parallel. Bend your knees and lean your weight back towards your heels. See if you might be able to graze the floor with your fingertips, keeping your hips that low perhaps, and extend your arms forward with the palms facing each other. Now, it's like you're skiing downhill, which I've never done, but take a moment to pull the hips back so you can see your toes. Maybe they're lifted off the floor. Then begin to peel the belly off of your thighs and lift your torso more upright while still gliding your shin bones back. Feel the length of your lower back supported by your lower belly firming in. As you relax the shoulders down, you might start to raise the arms more towards overhead, just making sure you don't shrug your shoulders. Last 2 breaths, modified chair pose. Pressing down through all of your feet, inhale, exhale, rise up. All right, so let's set up for sun salutation B. Bring your feet together to touch. Bend your knees together to touch. Sink your weight towards your heels and take 1 inhalation in chair, Utkatasana. As you exhale, fold forward, remembering full length of the breath in and out. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen halfway. Plant your hands and step through plank or float back into Chaturanga as you breathe out. On your inhale, coil your chest up, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, lift your hips into downward dog. Then inhale, raise your right leg back. With control, exhale, land the foot inside of your right hand. Still face forward as you drop the back heel. Inhale, rise all the way up to warrior 1. We're flowing, so use the exhale to lower all the way down through plank into Chaturanga. Then inhale to Cobra or upward dog. Exhale, lift the hips to downward dog. Second side, inhale, raise your left leg. Slow and controlled, exhale, set the foot inside of your left hand so your feet are hips width apart. Drop the back heel and inhale, rise up to warrior 1. Exhale, lower through plank, through Chaturanga. Inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog, and let your body be still as you observe it and your breath passing through. So really focusing here as we flow on how synchronized our body's movements are to the lengths of the in and out breaths. And really finding that sense of grace in the way we transition between in and out breath, as well as the way we transition in and out of poses. So bend your knees. We're going to do this once more. Look beyond where you want to land your feet. On empty breath, quietly land your feet at the top of your mat, touching. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen forward. Exhale to fold. With knees touching too, inhale, sit low, chair pose. Then exhale, rise all the way up to stand. Last time, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, sit back into chair. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise halfway up. Plant your hands. Exhale, step through plank or float into Chaturanga. Inhale into your back bend, lifting the heart. Exhale into downward dog. If your breath is a different pace, follow your breath. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step the foot inside of your right hand and drop your back heel. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, lower through plank chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, second side. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, your foot inside of your left hand, drop the right heel. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower through plank and chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, being still for 3 to 5 breaths. Use this stillness to listen inward. Now with bent knees, look ahead of your hands. Bottom of the exhale, lightly land. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Knees touching, inhale to chair pose. Let's prepare to twist in chair. So join your hands at your heart, sink your weight towards your heels, and as you breathe out, begin to turn your chest to the right, incrementally, breath by breath. You could use your left arm to press against your right thigh if you want to add that leverage, but make sure that your left knee is not coming forward of your right. Relax the shoulders down your back and broaden your chest. Is there any other area of the body that could use some softening so that you're balancing effort with ease for 2 more breaths? Parita Utkatasana, revolved chair pose. Sit a little lower, inhale the arms up in chair. Exhale, begin to lower all the way down to sit. Lift the legs up, we're in boat pose, 5 breaths. Inhale, lift the heart center. Exhale, 4. Inhale, flex or point your feet. Exhale, 3. Deep breath in, soften something, maybe the face. Exhale, 2. One last deep breath. Exhale, bring your feet to the ground, shift forward, and come back to stand. I was gonna go right into chair, but that's a little much. So let's come up to stand. Just take a moment, a deep breath here. And with your feet still touching, bend your knees to touch and sit back towards your heels. Second side. Aren't you glad we only have 2 sides for this? Join your hands at your heart. And as you exhale, start to twist to your left. As you inhale, maybe sit a little lower. Draw your right hip back so the right knee doesn't creep forward of the left. Maybe you add the leverage arm again. Broadening your chest, lengthen your neck. Hollow the belly as you breathe out for 2 more breaths. Sit a little lower. Inhale your arms up in chair. Exhale, rise up this time. All right. So if you used a block for triangle, if you like to use it for half moon, grab your blocks. Come to stand at the middle of your mat. Open up your arms and step or jump your feet wide apart. Almost as wide apart as your wrists. And then place your blocks just behind your calves for now. We'll start in triangle pose briefly. So from your hips, rotate your thighs and pivot both of your feet so that your left foot, I'm mirroring you, becomes your front foot. Align your left heel to the arch of your right foot and straighten your legs from the front muscles of your thighs. Belly hugging in, front ribs sealing in, open the arms and open the chest. Remember that feeling of wrapping one arm behind you. Feel that in both collarbones. Then slide your pelvis towards your rear leg, that's the right leg. Reach the left hand beyond your left knee and then lower it into triangle pose, just briefly. So we're just using this memory of triangle pose to bring us into half moon, in which we might explore sugar cane pose, also known as Ardha Chandra Chapasana. So as we get into half moon, you might like to place your right hand on your right hip, unless you want the extra challenge of keeping the right arm up. Bend your right knee, take the block if you're going to use it in your left hand, and walk your left hand forward and to the left of your left pinky toe, about 6 inches forward and outer left corner. Drag your right foot in, flex it as you raise the heel about the height of your hip. Notice how this is similar to that side plank variation we did in the beginning. And what we're about to do next is also similar. So keep tacking your left hip crease back towards your right lifted heel. Keep flexing the right heel towards that wall, towards that end of your mat. And now begin to contract your belly. Bend your right knee towards your chest. And with your right hand, catch hold of your right shin, ankle, or top of your foot. Keep flexing the foot. Keep reaching your left sitting bone towards the opposite edge of your mat. And now begin to kick your right leg towards straight as you pull your leg towards you with your hand so that your right heel is seeking your right glute. Open up the right side of your chest, but keep firming the belly towards your back. Steady your gaze. Draw the left hip crease back. Maybe you look up. Maybe you lift a finger more of your left hand. Now, when you decide to come out of sugarcane pose, Ardha Chandra Chapasana, come into half moon pose first. Re-extend the right leg. And then when you're ready, softly land warrior two, setting the right foot all the way back, both feet on the ground. Nice, you guys look solid. Okay, so let's straighten the left leg. Rotate from your hips and pivot your feet to face the opposite edge of your mat. Align your right heel to the arch of your left foot. Prepare for triangle. Firm the fronts of your thighs, open your arms, open your chest. Sideways, glide your pelvis towards your rear leg. Reach your right hand towards your front wall, then down. Pause a moment and find equal lengths as much as you can along both sides of your torso, both sides of your neck, firming the belly in. Now, as your breath is steady, transitioning to sugarcane, look down at the floor ahead of your right foot and steady your gaze there. You might like to place left hand on your left hip or keep the arm up if you want that extra challenge. Bending your right knee, walk your right fingertips onto your block or the floor, 6 inches ahead and to the right outer corner of your right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex it as it lifts off the floor to the height of your left hip. Now pause and feel the imprint memory of triangle pose. Draw your right hip crease back towards your lifted left heel and keep lengthening the right side of your torso. Now as the belly continues to engage, listening to your breath, enter sugarcane by bending your left knee towards your chest. With your left hand, catch your left shin, ankle, or top of your foot. Keep flexing the foot and think of bow and arrow counter forces, kicking the left leg towards straight as you pull the leg towards you so the glute reaches for your heel reaches for your glute. Now opening the left side of your chest, you might look forward, you might look up. It is more challenging to do that if you want that challenge. Keeping the breath steady and calm. Maybe lift a finger or more of your right hand. Now you decide when you're ready to come into half moon, so you begin to transition out. And then from half moon, where the left leg is straight, softly step back to warrior two. Nice, landing. And once you're in warrior two, just keep the wide stance and pivot both of your feet so they're parallel to each other in a wide-legged stance. To prepare for a forward fold or preparation to go into crow or headstand if you want to do that. So bring your hands behind your back and let's interlace the fingers. Just give a little more openness to the chest. Draw the shoulders back and inhale, lift your chest. Hinging from your hips, exhale to fold, shifting a little more weight towards the balls of your feet. Let your head be heavy so the top of your head seeks the ground as you're lifting the shoulders lightly away from your neck. With a little bend in the elbows, stretch your arms forward away from your back, opening your chest. Now take just a couple more breaths in this variation, and if you're going to stay with your feet both on the ground in a wide-legged forward fold, some other options might be to clasp your big toes and pull yourself in further, Or walk one hand forward and raise the opposite hand to the sky for a spinal twist, 5 breaths each side maybe. But if you're going into crow, you could come into that on your own. That's the arm balance, Bakasana. Otherwise, if you're going to tripod headstand, I could walk you through that, in which you walk your hands back, fingertips are facing forward in the same direction as the toes, and you walk the hands back enough so that you have a triangle, equilateral triangle between the top of your head, the very top vertex, and then your 2 wrists, the other vertices. The elbows are bending back so your arms remain parallel, creating a shelf out of your upper arms. And as your hands press the floor, you're lifting the shoulders away from your neck. So once you actually lift your feet, most of your weight is on your hands, not as much weight on your head. You want to feel space in your neck, not compression. So you could stack one knee on top of one upper arm and then the other knee, and it's like crow pose with your head on the floor. Maybe you start to bend the knees towards the belly, more engagement of the belly. It's like the feeling of lifting your pelvic floor when we jump through from downward dog to the top of your mat. Or it's like when you hold boat pose, which we did earlier too. You might straighten the legs in which you want to create a vertical line, flexing or pointing your feet as you hug your legs towards your midline. So whatever inversion or upside down posture you're in, take just at least 3 more breaths before we all meet in a forward fold or child's pose if that's more suitable to the inversion that you're doing. Coming out of tripod headstand, you could open the legs apart and bring both feet down slowly, or you could restack your knees on top of your upper arms and then lower 1 foot at a time. So lift your head very slowly. Come up halfway if you're in a standing forward fold and just pause there. Gradually lifting the torso. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees a lot, and lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. Let's come down to sit with your legs in front of you, bending your knees apart into bound angle pose. Soles of your feet together to touch. Then as you bring your heels close to your pelvis, press the pelvis down and see if you can sit a little taller, opening your chest and gently opening your throat. Take a deep breath and keep this openness at your chest and throat as you fold forward slowly. Taking your time, breath by breath, you might walk your hands forward. I love this simple posture. It opens up your lower back, your sacrum, as well as your hips. And forward folds, relaxed forward folds like these are cooling, they're calming for the nervous system, they invite introspection just through the posture. And particularly this one, Baddha Konasana, is helpful to help alleviate menstrual cramps. Ladies, if you're on your period. Take one more breath and then use the next in-breath to lead with your chest and slowly rise up. Now extending your left leg forward, take your right thigh and cross it over your left thigh so that maybe you stack the knees down your midline. We're gonna keep the left leg straight here in half cow face pose so that we can get the hamstrings a nice stretch too. Flex your left foot, and if you have a strap and wanna use it, you could wrap it around the ball of your foot. Hold it with 2 hands. Otherwise, hands beside your hips. Breathe in, sit up a little taller. Breathe out, keep the length in your spine and begin to fold. Breath by breath, venturing into that range that allows your throat to stay open and your shoulders relaxed. Now, this version of cow face pose is great for alleviating pain from sciatica, nerve issues, lower back, chronic stiffness, opens up the glutes, outer hips and thighs, and again, inviting introspection, cooling down. Now begin to lift from your chest. Inhale to rise up. Straighten your right leg and cross your left thigh on top. Flex your right foot and sit taller as you breathe in. Maybe you're holding a strap. Exhale, hinge forward as you breathe out. Easing into your range with your breaths. Ardha Gomukhasana is the Sanskrit name for this pose. Half cow face pose. Anytime you hear the prefix Ardha, that means half. One more breath. Leading with your chest, inhale to slowly rise up. So find a comfortable seat as we'll practice 3-part breath before we come into Shavasana. If you want to stretch into the front of your thighs and hips more, you could sit into some version of hero's pose where you bring your shins to the floor and point your toes back. Make sure not to point your toes out to the sides to protect your knees. If it's available, you could even move your calves aside and sit all the way to the ground, right between your ankles. Find a way to sit for this breath work. You might like to close your eyes. So we're going to go right into the 3-part breath. Left hand to chest, right hand to belly. Empty this breath. Hold it out. Into your belly. Inhale 1/3. Side ribs 1/3. Then chest 1/3. Hold the breath in and observe. Slowly empty the breath through your nose or your mouth, all the way out. Then pause and observe. One more together. Into the belly, inhale. Side ribs, inhale. Chest, inhale. Hold it in, take notice. Then exhale completely. Hold it out and just be aware. Try one more round on your own. When you've finished holding your breath out, allow your breath to flow naturally. You might even like to keep your eyes closed as you find your way into a comfortable resting pose, Shavasana, for a few minutes. as you start to wake the body up, you might like to take a few deeper breaths. Gently moving your hands and feet, maybe your head, stretching your neck, stretching your arms and legs. Perhaps you gather your knees into your chest, giving yourself a huge embrace. And then turn over to your right side, resting your head for a moment. And very kindly to yourself, lift your body into a comfortable position to sit tall and be aware. Feel grounded. And as we pause for the last 2 minutes, in a very brief meditation, I invite you to reflect upon or observe the effects of your practice. In which ways you stayed aligned to your intention you set at the start, and how you can delight in your awareness of times that perhaps you veered away from your intention. So a compassionate self-reflection. As you allow breath in, feel your heart space rise. Join your palms to meet there, exhaling to your mouth. So bowing inward, that we might set intentions for the coming season of fall. How can we be kind to ourselves in evaluating our progress along the way? Finding the wins in being aware, even when we falter off path, but delighting in that developing self-awareness too. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.